What's up, movie lovers? I'm Mike, and this is Gotta Love Them Movies. Manchester, Manchester, Manchester by the sea. This is a fantastic film. Okay, let me back up. All the critics are saying how sad this movie is and how your heart is going to be ripped out of your chest and someone's going to take a bite and throw it on the ground and stomp on it. And I guess, like, to a point, kind of they do, but it's not as sad and dire as I was led to believe. This is a film about real people in real life, in real situations. It's not based on a true story, so don't think that it is. But it's like, it's a real grounded film. As I was watching it, I tried to reflect on obviously the events of the film have never occurred in my own life. I hope they never occur in my own life. But I was trying to put myself in the position of Casey Affleck and saying, all right, if this did happen to me, how would I react to it? And I definitely could see a lot of myself in how Casey Affleck played that character. Now, I have heard it said before, and we'll discuss this. In fact, let's discuss it now. Acting! I've heard it discussed that Casey Affleck's acting, even though it was great, it was overshadowed by, oh, doggone it, what's her name? Michelle Williams. Michelle Williams. I don't feel like that's fair, because the nephew character definitely has a much larger role. Be that as it may, acting was really, really good. There were a few things that I was like, would he react this way in this particular situation? But then again, you know, everyone deals with things differently. It's not perfect, but it's near perfect. So 19 out of 20. Directing. The directing of the film. Aside from the fact that it's a little long, it definitely could be shortened by at least a half an hour, at least. There were moments where there was comedy a-coming. All right. I mean, like, and it's all situational. It's, you know, it's not like bust a gut laugh, hardy har. It's, oh, this little funny thing happened, and so let's comment on it and let's move on. Here's the thing with comedy. Comedy needs time to breathe. And I understand that the movie was very long, first of all. But in order for certain jokes to work the way you want them to work, it needs to have air. It's like a fire. It needs oxygen to breathe. And there were all cutaway shots too, which was so confusing to me, is that you have this thing that happened, you're going to do a cutaway shot, make a joke about the thing that happened, and then either come back to the thing or move on. As a comedian, that frustrated me because those jokes needed to breathe. But I feel like I'm getting nitpicky. So directing, for directing's sake, I'm going 18 out of 20. Writing. The writing of the film, like I said, it was realistic. It was grounded in reality. These are real. It's not based on a true story, but they're real events. Things that actually could happen and things that have happened. And it's how people deal with grief. I think that's kind of the message of the film, is how people deal with grief. And I think we got a very real understanding of what that is. So maybe not as perfect as it could have been, but I felt it was strong. It was good. I really liked it. 17 out of 20. Effectiveness. How effective was the movie? It didn't leave you with a certain message of how to deal with grief, but I think it was good from the standpoint of this is how people deal with grief. You get to see how everyone has a different reaction. Even though similar, it's a different reaction to how things are happening. It's not a fun movie by any stretch of the imagination. It's not even really a family flick. I don't know why you would bring your family and say, hey kids, let's hop in the van, let's go see Manchester by the Sea. It doesn't leave you with happy feelings, but at the same time, it doesn't leave you feeling like grief-stricken and like the world is going to end. So for that reason, I'm going 15 out of 20. Overall takeaway. What's the overall takeaway? Is that pretty much what I said in the effectiveness section, is that it gives you an insight to how other people deal with grief, and maybe hopefully you can find some way to deal with your own grief in seeing how people deal with their grief. These are topics that pop up quite regularly through humanity. There's a scene in the film where Casey Affleck and his nephew are having an argument outside of a building. Casey Affleck calls his nephew a name. And there happens to be a stranger walking by on the street and says, "Hey, great parenting skills." The stranger on the street makes a huge assumption about what's going on. He believes parent and child. Not the case. I think that was a very important scene to the film because it shows to the audience, be careful how you treat other people because you don't know what's going on with their lives. I think the whole, if I can deviate for a moment, when Robin Williams died, we all were so quick to jump on the bandwagon and say, "How could you do this to me? This was a personal attack to me." How many of us actually stopped to consider what he was going through and the reasons why he did what he did? And I think it's those themes that are very important for us to learn from and just say, hang on a second, let me remove myself from the situation and try to see what's going on through a fresh pair of eyes. I think it's important that we stop making assumptions about things that we, on the surface, perceive. That gets into dangerous territory when we start putting other people in our shoes. Can we try to be better to each other? Maybe just a little bit? Just a little bit? Good talk, guys. Good talk. So overall takeaway, like I said before, you're getting 15 out of 20. Which brings our overall score to a total of 84 out of 100.
Where's your pass? Screw your pass.
Hey, Nancy. No running in the hallway.
So guys, what did you think of Manchester by the Sea? I want to know. Let me know in the comment section below. If you want to follow me on Twitter, do it at GLT Movies. Also, don't forget to check out our sister channel, Gotta Love Them Shows. Do you like television shows as much as you like movies? Then definitely check out Zach Brown in Gotta Love Them Shows. Guys, if you like this video, click like. If you really like this video, click subscribe. If you really, really like this video, click share. Because that's what Ben Affleck's brother would want you to do. Alright, movie lovers, I'm out of here.